I had a quote from the animated series for the Joker stuck in my head ever since the ending of this film, ending of this episode. I can't tell if you're allergic to using the front door or you just enjoy the feeling of glass in your shorts. Mike, go ahead.
Okay, so in this episode, titled Hide and Seek, Bishop takes Barton back to her apartment, but is attacked by the Track Suite Mafia. The pair is forced to evacuate, leaving the Ronin suit behind. After relocating to the apartment of Bishop's vacationing aunt, Barton sends his children back home, promising to return by Christmas Day. He escorts Bishop to her workplace, then recovers the Ronin suit from a firefighter named Grills at a LARP event. We'll get to that. Later, Bishop fails to convince Eleanor of Duquesne's involvement in Armand's death. After challenging Duquesne to a fencing duel, she tries to contact Barton, not knowing that he has allowed himself to be captured by the Track Suite Mafia. She tracks down Barton's location, but ends up being captured herself, and the gang informs her boss, Maya Lopez, also known as Echo, of Barton and Bishop's captivity.
All right, fun thing. Before you get too far away from that, I need to ask, and can I ask where you copied this synopsis from that's in the chat?
Oh, it's right from Wikipedia.
Cool. They changed the name of the spelling of the dude's last name in the subtitles from episode to episode.
Yep, I noticed that.
Because it's spelled like Duquesne's in the first one, and now it's very strictly spelled Duquesne in the second episode.
The thing about subtitles is that sometimes it's spelled like correctly how it's supposed to be spelled, and sometimes they spell it phonetically, which can be frustrating for people hard of hearing.
Yes. Or people trying to understand that the English language, you can pronounce the same name 14 different ways depending on where they're from. Because English is stupid. But yeah, I go back to, man, I said this in the last episode. The dialogue in this show is the most 90s thing I've heard in a while.
And it's so perfect for these characters.
It is. Yeah, I'm not like a total novice. I've been practicing martial arts since I was like 5. So what, a year ago? They have such good chemistry. It's ridiculous.
I love how much of an asshole he is about it, because I get it. He's trying to get home to his family, but at the same time, there's a Ronin suit on the loose.
Mm-hmm. Look, there's 2 different MacGuffins. We don't know about the first one yet because obviously there's 2 because you have the Ronin suit and the Rolex. It's just like these 2 suits are the only important things so far, and they don't know anything beyond that.
I think it is cool how so much of the past 5 years are still kind of a mystery. So one thing they're kind of letting the shows do is kind of naturally fill in those gaps. And specifically in this case, the Rogues Gallery in this show is basically Ronin's Rogues Gallery.
Yeah, pretty much. And I have to ask again, just because I'm that guy. Now that we got to see more of the apartment, that we see it has an upstairs loft and a freaking miniature archery range, how much did the cost of that apartment jump up? Keep in mind, we still didn't even see the bedroom in that place.
I was almost convinced when I first saw just that one shot of the apartment. I didn't think that was like her actual apartment. I thought like she just kind of laid like an air mattress on like the top floor of the pizza place.
Pretty much.
Which still could be the case.
Oh, absolutely. That looks like that used to be the old play area of like a Chuck E. Cheese. Because it's got like the weird like bowling alley seats attached to it, and then it's got the weird
I'll I will say somewhere between like 11 and 1200.
Okay, gotcha. Remember when I went in the last episode, I was like, man, I appreciated that they kept this show realistic. And then in the first 5 minutes, Hawkeye point blank with his bare hands catches a Molotov cocktail and throws it back at him. They kept the 90s. They threw the realistic clean out the window. But that's fine. I'm okay with it because that was awesome. I was like, please have him catch it. And he did.
That was badass. I have to admit.
Yes. And they do something in this where they didn't do it as much as I wanted them to. But there is I call it, I identify a lot of things by wrestling terms. And a spot in wrestling is a predetermined awesome thing that you had planned that's going to wow the crowd. A spot they don't do often in movies enough, in my opinion, is preemptively stop a throw of a Molotov cocktail. It doesn't happen a lot.
This is probably the first time I've seen it.
There's another one that happened in a movie in the last few years where I can't remember exactly what it is, but a guy's about to throw a Molotov cocktail, and someone shoots it in his hand, and he lights himself on fire. I can't remember what it's from, but it's from a somewhat recent movie.
I can't remember the movie either, but I'm picturing that scene.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I also love how apparently that suit's got to be flame retardant.
It has to be.
It has to be. How? All right. You convinced me. Unless that LARPer's a firefighter. I get that they picked it up out of the rubble. Oh, yeah, duh. He is a firefighter because one of the firefighters' trucks had the LARPing thing on it. Yeah. Okay. So the firefighter was a LARPer. Got it. I just love how... This is turning into the MCU version of Snatch.
You're not wrong.
It's just like, we got that. What's this guy? It's a guy with 9 fingers in a briefcase. Oh, man.
It is so a 90s Shane Black movie. It is.
It's great.
Yeah.
You got a little bit of Guy Ritchie-ness in there, too.
A little bit.
Like it's the perfect blend of just like knowing exactly what again, I'll throw another term that Wooly Madden from previously of Two Best Friends, now of Wooly versus fame, when they were describing the newest God of War game, how it just had a bunch of really cool game mechanics thrown into one to make a new genre, where he coined it the Gumbo game. And I'm kind of noticing this is becoming a Gumbo movie where it's kind of like, I like that style of this, and it just matches perfectly with that. And we're going to have a little bit of that in there and that too.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of the LARP, can we just like talk about that entire sequence?
I'm trying to think of the last time I saw, because normally when they do these scenes, and this reminded me instantly of the LARPing episode in Supernatural, there's normally one person that goes, or it's normally whenever they do these scenes in movies or TV shows, there's always one person that's super into it and one person that's super not. I can't remember the last time I saw one where it was just one guy that went that was super not into it at all and still had to put up with it. I can't remember.
I mean, my probably biggest exposure to LARP in media, at least, is the movie Role Models.
Wow. Holy crap.
Yeah, that was like over a decade ago.
Yeah, that was when I was in high school. That was a core memory you just pulled out of the back of my head. I forgot that movie existed. Remember when Sean William Scott was in movies?
Good times.
Holy crap.
And now Paul Rudd is in the MCU.
And he's the sexiest man alive. Amazing what can happen in a decade. And he's in a Ghostbusters sequel that was great.
Yep.
But yeah, that whole LARPing scene, like, just dude, you're not too cool that you could just walk in here. We understand who you are, but you're going to follow the rules. It's like, I don't care that you helped save the planet multiple occasions. You're going to obey the rules of this damn LARP.
I think my favorite line though is the one that Grills said is like, dude, you're a superhero for real. This is like the only thing I have that even comes close.
Yeah, it's very apparent that Clint does not consider himself special. When he does something, it's a job, and then he clocks out and then goes and doesn't think about it.
He probably gets that from his time at in Shield.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it's very much I didn't do that to be cool. I'm doing this because that's what I'm hired to do. And like and I think that's part of what the entire purpose of this show is to make Hawkeye apparent that he's a special person to a lot of people.
Yeah, that it seems like the theme, like specifically pairing up Clint with Kate, is that you don't know how much you mean to someone until like you meet them.
Absolutely. And they go out of their way to show that she got her love of all this and that from it. It matches up of like showing him specifically saving her. Do you think she's going to mention that?
I'm surprised that she hasn't already. I mean, they're probably saving it for a more dramatic moment. But
Yeah. Because she came close when they were talking before she went into Bishop security.
Yeah.
But yeah. And it's cool seeing that like when Kate's not around, Clint's kind of like actually showing that he's having a fun time, like with Pizza Dog, where he's just like, yeah, you are a good boy. I'll see you in the morning. There's always a little bit where he's not going to show it in front of anyone that could call him out on it, but he's doing okay.
He has a heart under those 16 layers of armor.
Yep. And like the little moment, like you said, with Grills, that was great. Like another one that I liked maybe more is just like he doesn't understand how cool it is that like he's just letting someone call him by his first name. Like that's a formal thing. It's like with a teacher. You don't call them by their first name. You say Mr. Barton or Hawkeye. Like you're letting him call you Clint. That's a personal level, dude. Like that's a cool thing you just did with him.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it just kind of extends like how I feel about the concept of superhero secret identities. How I think in the modern world it's kind of overrated, especially in a social media world.
It is. And I'm going to be honest, the world has forgotten how to, outside of Spider-Man,
And even
then, they're at least making a plot device out of it. So I'll give them credit. And that's always been a thing with Spider-Man, where like as soon as someone found out who he was, this entire world was ruined. Even though I don't want to talk about One More Day, that doesn't exist because Marvel doesn't like marriages. Bruh! In comics anyway. They're very okay with them in the movies because, you know, Kevin's a different person. But like they've borderline forgotten how to handle secret identities nowadays. Like, I don't think I need to again mention the CW. 19 people knew that Barry was the Flash within the first season of that show. And not by accident. He just admitted it hundreds of times. I know that's exaggerating, but I would not doubt if 100 people total in the Flash know that he's the Flash. Villain and heroes included.
And his it's funny, his costume gets more revealing each season.
Yeah, and people are not afraid to, like, in situations where, like, you need to be checking on someone to whip their mask off for no apparent reason so you can see their facial expressions. You wouldn't do that. I don't care that it's acting. You wouldn't do that. You can act without a mask on. Everyone, you should watch Tom Holland's Hot Ones. Talks about how it is a challenge better acting with a mask on and how you have to do stuff differently and how it sells better. But yeah. Anyway, we yeah, but yeah. Anyway, going back to that whole like showing the cracks in Clint's armor a little bit is great, and a lot of repeated references to Black Widow is great too.
Mm-hmm.
Like Linda's like, yeah, exactly. You're doing what she did, and we get an exact repeat of him letting himself get caught.
Yep.
Like, nice. That's pretty great. And I just like how it's like, and it's such a stupid. They treat it like they know they're in a TV show. Also, it's one thing I'm appreciating. Is like, all right, stand on the sidewalk with a bow and a quiver, and it should take no time. Be like, there they are. There's the other van. There's the other van. All right, just hit me. Also, we got way far ahead of ourselves. I loved the sparring thing with the fencing. That was great. And
hold on, before that, even just the whole thing of like Kate barging in on a meeting
oh yeah,
with Eleanor. Like that whole exchange was great. Even the secretary be like, nope, Kate, what are you doing? No.
What are you doing in him? It is fertile grounds for talking. I bought a book on how to be a stepdad. Like, could you be any more of a douchebag if you tried?
He is chewing that scenery.
Like, bro, she is 22. You are not her stepdad. You are the guy that is married to her mom. I'm sorry, but stepdad's out the window at that point. You are a guy she's going to put up with. But yeah, and the best part is you could tell that he knows he's a douchebag. Like, not just the actor understanding he knows he's a douchebag, the character in the show knows he's a douchebag.
Yep.
That's the best part about it.
I also love how bad he is at lying.
Oh yeah.
And Tony Dalton does a good job of like going out of his way to like basically he's playing an open hand.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I'm waiting to see how they deal with stuff like to see just how much he knows, because they have the whole fencing fight, and when she like tries to stab him in the face and he parries her and makes the sword spin on its handle and then just drops.
That was cool.
That was cool. But like the part I'm wondering is that either they had him give her the candy as a plot device to make sure that Kate knows for sure, hey, dude is exactly who killed him, or dude knows Kate was at the apartment, or is pretty sure she was, and goes, I'm going to see if she freaks out.
Good question.
Either way, it leaves it open and guessing. That was a very smart way to do that, because you don't know whether he did that on purpose or not. Because then he just sits back in the chair and goes, I don't know why she's freaking out. Just candy, man. And also, I gotta ask, did you watch a lot of Mad TV when it was on?
Not a lot. I've seen like episodes here and there.
Do you know who Coach Hines is?
Vaguely.
Keegan-Michael Key played my all-time favorite sketch comedy character of all time. This guy called Coach Hines. And his first name's Sandoval, but that's just a way. He's this guy that wears knee-high socks. It's a gym teacher. And
wait. I'm seeing the images now, and it's coming back to me.
Yeah, what his big kick is that he gets agitated very easily, and he makes these overly complicated threats to his students, and that's what he's known for. He's like, I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna resurrect you, and I'm gonna kill you again. It can be done. I saw it on CSI Miami. It's just like, or I'm gonna cut you in half with the edge of a coin. Like, there's just random stuff like that. But like, and it's ruined the word bro for me, because
no.
there's this one scene where he's the guy who is basically the head of detention, and he's watching for people, and this kid who forgive me, I can't remember his name. He was the the very well-known Asian male actor on Mad TV. His name is blanking.
Keep talking.
But anyway, he says this thing, and they're talking about this girl behind this behind the school, about how she gives handies behind the school. And then, but yeah, and then all of a sudden, like, he says something, like Coach Hines tells him to shut up, and he goes, "Come on, you don't got to get mad, bro." And the coach just goes at him, "Bro," and then, "Did you just call me bro?" And he walks out the door. And then walks back and jumps up onto the desk from behind him and goes, "Don't you call me bro again, ever!" I can't hear the word bro normally ever after that, because he would always get pissed at him if he ever called him bro. And now they don't even call themselves by their names. The Track Suite Mafia is amazing, because all they ever say is bro. And it's a totally not Russian thing to do, from my understanding.
Nope.
They're the best. They're my favorite group in the MCU.
Do you think these are the dumbest bad guys in the MCU?
They are. They are the total definition of 90s moron henchmen. This is so perfect.
Yes.
Because they're all just goofballs that think they're so much cooler than what they are, and they're like trying to outcool each other, and it's just, it's so dumb, and I love it. He's like, "Bro, you were on fire like a little bit ago. We need to calm down. Like, you caught flame."
Not big flame, but little flame. Shish kebab.
Shish kebab. And then it's just like, a guy, "We call you. No, we caught you. We brought you here. We did this." They're trying to defend everything they do because they know they're worthless. It's great. I hope to God they survive outside of the show.
Same. I wonder if they'll show up in Echo. By the way, this episode ends on Echo.
It does. And it ends in her like feeling base, but like, I don't know jack about Echo. I don't know a damn thing. That is another character I didn't know existed until this show was happening. But she's cool enough to where she's getting her own spinoff. Characters that didn't even get shown on a screen yet are getting spinoffs.
Yep.
From shows that they're in. They're not just characters. They're not putting anything. She didn't even come up in an episode. Like, yeah, she's got a spinoff planned already. We wrote it. It's fine. We're going. It's out there. We just know you're going to love her. They're drunk on power.
So on Wikipedia, they say she is the adoptive daughter of the Kingpin.
Yep, I knew that. I knew that because that brought up everything with the Rolex.
The character has been depicted as a supporting character of Daredevil, blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, Native American and one of the few deaf comic characters. Her Echo guise includes a white handprint that covers most of her face. I can't wait to see more from this character.
Me too, because it's like, part of me was like, why was she? And then I remember the deaf thing. I'm like, she's feeling bass patterns. And then I'm like, he's talking to her over and over again. I'm like, isn't she deaf? So like, she's reading his lips, I guess. But yeah, I can't wait. It's great. And then again, 90s goofball Kate falling through the freaking skylight, and it's just, they're basically going through, hey, what have we not done in a movie or a series yet? Have you had a 90s goofball, freaking MacGuffin-laced theft buddy comedy yet with two bow characters? Nope. Throw it in there.
Yep.
It's like, I'm wondering how this process goes. It's like, hey, that character's getting a spinoff. Everyone come up with an idea. We're gonna pick the plot and make it work. The one that sounds like the best, well-rounded idea. It like anyone who's writing at Marvel has got to have the time of their lives because it has got to be such a better chance of anything you work on or thinking of possibly making it to the screen now.
It's like after Endgame, like the floodgates flew open
Yeah,
with all these different ideas.
because it's like if you don't like Marvel, cool. They don't need to make money off you for Marvel because they're making money off of people from Star Wars. So this Marvel show could essentially make no money. And then I repeat, they make Endgame life grossing plot freaking every month. So they don't care. They could spend millions upon millions upon millions. And then in a month, they didn't even notice it was gone. Oh, it's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. The amount of stuff they can do. And like when they properly introduce the X-Men, can you imagine the amount of stuff at this level they could do with X-Men characters?
I hope they keep the X-Men in long form. As excited as I would be for like a new Wolverine movie or I don't know, finally pulling the trigger on X-Force. The X-Men to me have always worked better on television than in the movies, even the ones I love.
Oh, yeah, and they could always make big events out of that and have smaller TV shows like a gritty R-rated X-Force movie or X-Force TV show. Like if they actually go like hard, like Punisher level R.
That they might not put that on Disney Plus. It would probably go to Hulu, but
Well, that's what I mean. They could put it wherever they want. People are going to watch it. They still own it, so the money's still going back to them. It's just they could they make a separate if they make like a Marvel Black Label.
or Marvel Knights and
Yeah,
do
there you go.
the possibilities are endless.
Uh-huh.
But staying in on the street level of things, we've seen Echo.
Mhm.
We know at least on the page her lineage. So now really all we have to do is just kind of wait for the other shoe to drop.
And also the fact that yet again we mentioned it, she's getting her own show.
Mm-hmm.
What other plot lines with Echo are you going to pull out outside of the big gun?
This might be like the long way around getting Daredevil back.
Because that's exactly what I was about to say. Because you either have Kingpin show up in this, or Kingpin show up in Echo. Because Kingpin shows up in this, and then you start the Echo series, you could have Echo be the quote unquote main character, but not protagonist, and she has to try and deal with someone that keeps doing things, and you either reintroduce Elektra or Daredevil. My money could be you could do both, but it likely would just be Daredevil.
I'm thinking the same thing.
What else is the point of making an Echo show?
Exactly. Unless you are like trying to turn this character into more of a hero, which I don't see that really happening as of now.
I don't either, but it's like what I'm trying to get at with this is like we're using Hawkeye to make a not as well known lower character like Echo be cool. And then like Swordsman. Now, so Hawkeye down to Echo because people had heard of Hawkeye. You can now go down to Echo, make the branch. Now people know about Echo. What people that no one's heard of that are that far below Echo are you going to try and pull up? What else would you do outside of doing Daredevil or Elektra?
You like at that point you'd have to like create. You have to specifically create new characters.
Exactly. It's borderline going. We're scraping underneath the barrel.
Now since we're talking about like the MCU shows and their tendency to sidetrack themselves, not accidentally. So WandaVision put over
Agatha Harkness.
Agatha Harkness,
Who's now getting her own show. Also,
I was gonna say Photon.
and Photon. Oh yeah, Photon. True.
Photon's
gonna be in Marvels though, right?
Yep, she's gonna be in Marvels.
Yeah.
But we got that.
The Miss Marvel show too. That's right.
Yeah, that's coming next year.
There's so much.
What else? Oh yeah, Falcon and Winter Soldier directly leads into Captain America 4.
Mm-hmm.
Loki firmly established the multiverse.
Yeah, and Kang for
and Kang.
And you're getting a Loki season 2.
And we're getting a Loki season 2.
Did I mention that the MCU is drunk with power? It's all good. That's the thing. They haven't sent out a crapper once.
Like some people may have felt that way about What If. I personally thought there were more good episodes than bad.
And that one's meant to be experimental. That's not meant to. They weren't trying to make something that everyone would like.
Yeah, that was more like we have the money, we have the technology. Let's just throw it out there.
And also, you can't tell me that wasn't a testing bed because you and me both went, holy crap, they need to make something with zombies. What happened?
We're getting Marvel Zombies.
Exactly. So they could use that every year as a testing bed for which one were they talking about the most? Animated team? Are you listening? Start working.
The possibilities are endless.
Legitimately endless. They have so much money. They have all these employees that it can be consistently working. It's insane. It's outright insane.
Mm-hmm. One last question, because now I'm starting to get a little bit suspicious of of Jack and of the Track Suite Mafia. Do you think these two parties will collide? Or are they just kind of two separate obstacles in their way?
I think they might be two separate obstacles in their way because it's like the Track Suite Mafia busted in on the auction and tried to steal everything against
Armand,
thank you. The name was, I was about to say Anton, but that was completely wrong. I've been playing Far Cry 6 too much. And clearly knowing who he was. So, and then Anton threatens the wife, and then he took care of that. So this is just a dude who, again, he said, I'm just going to inherit money. So either he's trying to make money himself, or he's working for Kingpin and trying to get a hold of Bishop security for him. Again, saying Kingpin's a thing. And Echo has her own muscle that she just uses to throw around as to get her part of the deal done. And they could be going against each other to make it look like they're not together.
That's what I'm thinking. Like I mean, it's totally possible that these are just two separate parties, but there's just something in the back of my head that's that's like coming up with ways to tie these two together.
Mm-hmm. It very well could happen. So, and it's like we're only in episode 2. So we got plenty of show left. And like we said, it's all waiting on the shoe to drop. And if that happens, a lot more is going to be explained. And they might tailor. And again, we might get. I don't know. I just hope that the Track Suite Mafia is an Echo. That's all. It's honestly all that's on my brain right now.
Same.
I cannot believe how much I love the Track Suite Mafia.
They are so good for this series.
They are.
Because you're not gonna put Rowan you're not gonna put Hawkeye up against like you're not gonna put him against wizards or aliens or I don't know what's like a
like not even the 10 rings you're not putting up against.
No.
And the worst part is it's not like Hawkeye can't handle himself against a horde of people. You're literally putting Hawkeye up against people that he could beat the shit out of with his eyes closed. And he's just purposely not fighting them so we could get dialogue out of them.
Yep. The writers just want to make they want to make the most out of like making these guys look like bumbling idiots.
Absolutely. It's like this is going to be their one time or their little bit of time to shine. So we want to make everyone love little bits. And that's what they do when they pick out these random characters. They always are pretty good about, outside of Death Dealer in Shang-Chi, who just unceremoniously gets offed. They're very good at going, that character's getting one series or one movie to shine. We're making sure they're like, man, that character was cool. And so it can always be someone at Marvel, specifically Kevin Feige, going, I made them think that character no one's ever heard of was cool. Awesome. Someone who was a big fan loved it.
Again, probably the outside of Marvel, the best example of that template is Sportsmaster in Young Justice.
Yep, it's up there. I'm trying to think of other versions of that where they use someone who was unbelievably not well known and made them just giant, but I can't.
I mean, you could argue Mr. Freeze was not as well known before the animated series.
Well, that could be with a lot of them, though. The animated series put like the Rogues Gallery on the map even more than what they were.
True.
Like that's a whole other video to talk about how they, I want to say, rejiggered all of the archetype setups of the Rogues Gallery and kind of based them around mental illnesses. It's kind of crazy. There's some breakdown videos that show how meticulous they were with that stuff. You want to go look it up. There's a lot of interesting videos about how they set up like obsessive compulsive disorder with Nigma, separation anxiety and like loss with Mr. Freeze. It's ridiculous how well they set it up with just the simplest things. But anyway, back to Hawkeye. Again, this is another episode that felt like it was 10 minutes long. They have unbelievable, great breakneck pacing in these episodes. It's nuts. They had to a T what they wanted this show to be, and they knew exactly how to write it and didn't have any extra fluff in it whatsoever.
Nope.
Which I always appreciate. You don't need it. I keep saying it more and more. Like outside of animes that are exactly 24 to 27 is the exact perfect thing for a single run of an anime. 6 to 8 episodes is perfect for a live action single run TV show of this type. It's perfect.
Yeah. As much as I love Daredevil season 3, the one thing I never liked about the Netflix shows is that 13 episodes, and they were all like 1 hour each, felt like you felt the weight of that. Like at least with these Marvel shows, like the length is kind of random. Some are like WandaVision was 9, but it was like 9 half-hour
Mhm.
episodes. This and Falcon and Winter Soldier were 6. Was Loki 6 as well too?
I want to say it was.
I'll double check.
But yeah, and it's like the only one out of the Netflix bunch that I didn't
Yep.
feel the length on. Was it 6?
Yep.
Yeah, was Jessica Jones, the first season. I never saw the second.
Me neither.
But yeah, it's like because that one was very. They knew exactly what they were doing again with, and again, David Tennant as Purple Man was perfect. That was all suspense based, so I was okay with it being longer because you needed a lot of dialogue and situations to show just how dangerous he was, and they did that. Like, you don't get a lot of shows that have the whole episode of where Jessica moves into the house with the Purple Man just to satisfy him, and they have a whole episode centered around them living together for a little bit. That was amazing.
Mhm.
And it's one of my favorite lines in a superhero anything. They're sitting there talking, and he's trying to say how his powers are an absolute torture on his life. He's like, the other day I told a man to go fuck himself. Can you even imagine? And I'm like, wow, yeah, okay, yeah, that would suck. Like, you didn't even want to piss that guy off, but like, that's, yep, I get it.
Mhm.
And then like another smart one, like before we go off, is when he tells Jessica's friend who ends up being a superhero, I can't remember her name.
Cat?
Cat, yeah. He tells her to put a bullet in her head. Jessica takes the bullet out of the chamber and puts it in her mouth and goes, "It's in your head. It's done. You don't have to." He's like, "Oh," I'm like, there was some really smart writing in it, and that's why that season length worked. But yeah, it's not well written that often for that long because it's hard to do. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this. This is stupid good.
It is. It may not be the best, but it's the most fun I'm having.
Yeah. It doesn't take itself too seriously. It goes out of its way to not take itself too seriously, and that's part of it. You don't need to. This is just fun. What do we want to give someone around Christmas? Just some fun. Pizza Dog, Russian Mafia. Somebody really liked Matt Fraction.
Even the conversation of, like, about Pizza Dog. What is that? His name? No, it's just a title.
It's just a title. It's like cat of something. I can't remember what he said. But...
She's compared it to the Earl of Sandwich.
Yeah, there it was. Earl of Sandwich. It was just like, this dialogue is so good. None of it feels forced either. That's the best part. It all feels like that's what they would naturally say. Like, Kate seems like that type of person, and Hawkeye is just, I want to go home. I'm so sick of this.
Also, the reason why this is the first time that we get to see Hawkeye with a hearing piece is, well, that the montage was
great,
glorious.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I'm not sure which one did it, but I kind of wish that they would have started showing it a little bit earlier, but like, I guess it would have impaired things in like Endgame and stuff like that. But it's like, I'm glad that they showed it because then some people could like get the thing that they get from comics about him with the hearing aid and stuff like that. It is cool. It is awesome. So yeah, it's great. I just can't say it enough. I'm enjoying how breezy, simple. You don't have to think about anything else. You're just watching the show.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you need sometimes. Separation, simple, street level stuff. It's great.
Yeah, it's nice to have this variety with the MCU. Other people have said it before, but it kind of feels like, albeit to a more massive scale, we're kind of back to basics in terms of in phase 1, it felt very to have like Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, Thor, Captain America all be like kind of different genres and then coming together with the Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're kind of doing something similar but on a larger scale, where like a group of movies will be cosmic, a group of them will be supernatural, and then you got Hawkeye, who's like street level.
Yeah, and it's like I hear people complain and it drives me nuts. Where it's just like, yeah, this doesn't have the effect that the last few movies did. It's like, or like with Shang-Chi and Eternals, they're like, just doesn't have that effect of the feel that the other last few movies did. I'm like, yeah, you know what these feel like? The first Marvel movies. Why? Because that's what they are. You're getting the new kids. That's how you felt with the other ones. They didn't just go, hey, we're having Avengers right after Iron Man. Patience, people. Why did you like Endgame and Infinity War so much? Because you worked your way there. My God. People don't realize how good they have it. They just don't.
Nope.
We are spoiled for choice, and it can't just be the Avengers every other week, and it shouldn't be.
Agreed.
Because it's not special anymore. But yeah, needless to say, me and Mike are really enjoying this. So, Mike, where can everybody find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter at Captain K42. You can check out my quick thoughts on letterbox.com/Coach K42. And you can find me in all the various Facebook groups just at my name. You can check out Renegade Pop Culture on Facebook and Twitter at Ren Pop Culture. Look for us on Podchaser. Listen to all of our podcasts on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen. And last but not least, everything can be found at renegadepopculture.com. Need an escape? So do we.
Absolutely. And you can find me everywhere at Organoid Zero. But around the holidays, which is this is going to come out towards the new year, I'll be back to more actively streaming, did some rearranging, family stuff going on. You know how it is. But yeah, until next time, we will see you all later. Peace.
Peace.